This is the first video I've ever done on my channel featuring Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, or as Professor Black Truth calls her, Alexandria Ocasio Horseface. I can never get over that. And let me put it like this. If this was a black woman, she would most definitely fall into the Blakarian Hall of Shame for what she just said. So y'all saw the video that I did about that unhinged, haughty individual going off the way that they did. Well, now we have Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, and I have to give a shout out to Seiji Hito, because if he wasn't doing a live stream about this, I wouldn't have even known. Where she literally went on this rant on her Instagram where she's blaming and bashing heterosexual men for what happened in Nashville, or she tried to insert them in there somehow, some way. Now I have the audio right here, and I'm going to play it for you. Now listen to this bullshit that this woman is saying.
So we know how people in power and conservatives use culture wars in order to distract and diffuse us from challenging institutions of power, right? And I want to talk about how the attacks on trans and LGBT people factor into this. The first time I was ever hit on by a grown man, I was about 13 or 14 years old. I still had braces in my teeth. And if you ask a lot of women about the first time that they had encountered something like that, they will often say 11, 12, 13, 14 years old. When I was in my early 20s and I worked as a waitress on an outdoor cafe, there was a man that would park on the side of the street, and we realized that he was pleasuring himself to the waitresses that were going back and forth on the sidewalk. I can't tell you how many stories I and almost every woman I know have about things like this. And when you actually look at who's committing this abuse, it's majority straight men. Many of these disgusting and insinuating attacks on trans and LGBT people are actually projections of what predatory, cisgender, and often straight men do when left alone in the presence of women, or sometimes horribly, children. So instead of getting you to challenge the patriarchy, they're trying to get you to challenge the very gender expressiveness that challenges patriarchy. Don't get it twisted, because a lot of people attacking drag are projecting.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there, and that was a whole bunch of nothing. Like, what in the hell was she talking about, and why in the hell would she even bring that up on a situation such as this? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and read the article coming from the Washington Examiner, which is where I was able to play the audio from the video, because it came from her Instagram account. It says, AOC slammed over video bashing straight men hours after Nashville shooting. That's the part that gets me the most. Why would you get on your platform, or on a platform, a social media app, and make this type of video when there were 6 people who just got murdered by a haughty individual? This person, first off, was not born a man. They were transitioning into one. Into what I guess they would believe a straight man would be. But she took time out of her day, which probably is a lot of time in her day, because to me, I don't think this woman is as busy as she claims to be. She went on there and literally just went on a rant and bashing straight men as if it was straight men's fault that this woman did, because technically she was biologically born a woman, did what she did. This came out of nowhere. This was so left field. But then again, AOC is one of them third, damn near fourth wave feminist. No one takes her seriously. Y'all remember when she went on that rant when she was on the Hill? When she was waving her finger around and damn near looking like she was about to jump over the podium? Do y'all remember that? This woman is unhinged herself. But I'm going to go ahead and read the article. Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez is facing backlash for engaging in a culture war with a video bashing straight men in the wake of the Nashville school shooting. On Monday, Ocasio Cortez blasted straight men as the sexual predators that society should be concerned about in the defense of drag queen shows. First off, what happened in Nashville has nothing to do, 1, with straight men, 2, anything with some drag queen shows. Like, what the hell are you talking about? This is exactly why everyone does not need to speak. This, what she just said, That video that I did on that breakdown, that 2 examples right there why people do not need, everyone does not need a voice. People are like, oh, they just have a voice. No, everybody doesn't need to talk. Everybody does not need to say their piece. Some people just need to shut up and sit there and be quiet. It goes on to say, many of these disgusting, and this is quoting what she said, many of these disgusting and insinuating attacks on trans and LGBTQ people are actually projections of what predatory, cisgender, and often straight men do when left alone in the presence of women or sometimes horribly children, Ocasio said in an Instagram video. Don't get it twisted, because a lot of people attacking drag are projecting. Representative Anna Paulina Luna rejected Ocasio Cortez's notion that attacks on drag are projecting and questioning insensitivity in her post timing. You see Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, she's a quote unquote liberal. Remember, I was saying how, like, I have said before that a lot of black people are conservative in mindset, but they not doing all the extracurricular stuff. This is my conservative mindset kicking in. It's no way that I could ever have the liberal mindset if it ended up like hers. I find it incredibly ironic that this party, the Democrat Party, is so obsessed with race and gender, yet they intentionally choose to remain quiet on certain things, Luna told Jesse Waters Primetime, referencing the shooter's transgender identity. The fact is, Jesse, she posted this video less than 24 hours after the horrific shooting that just took place. When it doesn't fit their narrative, they choose to, again, whether it's sidestep the issue or self-project onto others, Luna added. It's incredibly disturbing that she chose to do this. If she has such an issue with straight white males, why is she engaged to one? Interesting, because I was getting ready to ask, was she married or involved with somebody, and apparently she is. But that is a good question to ask. Luna further said that Ocasio-Cortez's rhetoric is representative of Democrats' inability, to address key issues. They don't win on the actual arguments. What they win at is really engaging in the culture war, Luna said. There is not much that they can bring to the debate front. Now, I will say this. I wish that this Luna person did not bring the politics into it, because then that's when I kind of tuned it out a little bit. They could have left the politics out of there and just focused on what she said. They didn't have to say, oh, because she's a liberal, she said this, because anyone who is even not party affiliated could have said this. Hell, one of those damn conservatives could have said the same thing too. But the fact of the matter is why did she bring this up? That was so insensitive. I think that's the worst part about it. This was a very insensitive post for her to make. It had absolutely nothing to do with what was going on. She tried to almost overshadow what happened in Nashville. We cannot erase the fact that a Hall T member was the one that committed a mass murder by taking out 3 kids and 3 adults. But leave it to people like her. We're just going to sidestep that and just bash straight men all day and say they're the reasons because the Hall T is under attack, or they're the reason why LGBTQ people, Academy members, are afraid of this and afraid of that. Oh, we can't be around too many straight men because they're going to go and try to attack women. Like, this was a huge dog whistle that she put out there that is very dangerous rhetoric. Again, not everyone needs to talk. And not only does she not need to talk, she just doesn't need to be seen. She's, you know how they say seen, not heard? I would rather not see or hear her. Her voice is like nails on a chalkboard. I've never liked Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. And there's a lot of people who don't. A lot of people probably cannot wait until she gets out of her position. That'll be the day. I know New Yorkers are probably sick of her. I'm not even from New York, don't live in New York, and I'm tired of her. Again, like I said, if she was a black woman, this statement she made right here would have definitely qualified her to get into the Blackarian Hall of Shame for sure, without the shadow of a doubt. That was so tacky for her to get up there on Instagram and say that shit hours after 6 people lost their lives. Like, what is really going on between that unhinged Hall team member that I did the breakdown on and her? I don't know who's worse. Like, and the thing is that they have in common is neither one of them in their videos acknowledged or said RIP to the victims, or I offer my condolences to the families. And neither video. In neither video did she do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to read to you what her caption reads. Much of the attacks on the LGBT plus community are, whether consciously or not, deflecting attention away from one of the actual largest sources of sexual assault, abusive heterosexual men. And it's actually the LGBT plus community doing much of the work of challenging those same patriarchal and oppressive norms that upheld the kinds of silence that benefits abusers. It is critical that we stand with our trans and LGBT plus neighbors. Their safety is all of our safety. Then she puts a peace emoji, the LGBT flag, the trans flag, and the hearts emoji. She didn't even acknowledge it in her caption. That was underneath the video from the audio y'all heard. All she cared about was getting on her platform and saying how bad and dangerous heterosexual men are when she's engaged to a man right now. Make that make sense. Are you going to question your fiance about his predatory nature? This is kind of the same shit that Hillary Clinton was on when she was calling black boys and black men super predators. Which makes me question Alexandria. What men exactly were you referring to when you said that? Because to our knowledge, you are not engaged to a black man. You're not engaged to a south of the borderian or a Native American man or an Asian man. According to sources, you're engaged to a white man. So apparently white men aren't the ones you're referring to if is who you're talking about. So specifically by race, Alexandria, who are you talking about? Y'all can cue the Jeopardy theme music right now because I think I have an idea. But yeah, this woman she's a piece of work and she's a piece of something else too. Y'all can figure that out.